not more than 6 months can one really predict what the job market is going to look like or where the trends really are going at the moment. But the big picture when it comes to skills of tomorrow has been this, that AI is going to be part of all our lives. And thus, there are two philosophies. One, that you equip yourself into AI and get more and more tech savvy as you can. And the second, and data analytics and all of that sort of falls in the same family. And the second is the value of human soft skills that is going to emerge in the times to come. Now, I know it's a very broad subject, so I want to sort of make it more consumer centric now and get some takeaways for people out of this conversation. And Alok, why don't you begin with this? Why don't you start by telling us, for young adults, people who are in college right now, thinking about jobs, thinking about getting the right course, etc. Which way do you think they should be thinking, and what are the trends there?
Yeah, interesting thing, Sonal. Human strength is going to stand out in this digital age. My advice
I
to
see.
youngsters, rather than giving focus on the technical skills or hard skills are important to get the job, but
Hmm.
to rise, to grow, to take you to the places, I feel that softer skills are much more or equally important than acquiring the technical knowledge or technical skill or hard skills. Some of the things which will go hand in hand is like creativity and originality. These are the skills which are going to be in demand. Critical
Hmm.
thinking and analysis, reasoning and problem solving,
Hmm.
social influencing skills. These are some of the critical
Hmm.
skills going to be, which will be the driver for the future skills.
I see. So creativity, critical thinking, originality, working with the team, and working remotely. I think that's also
Yeah.
another skill that one must add to the scheme of things. Suparna, what's your list looking like?
I mean, all of that has already been said and couldn't agree more. But there's one skill, which essentially, given that everything seems to be changing every other day, would be learnability. If you do not have the ability to quickly learn something, then there'll be problem because that's the only way to stay relevant. I
Hmm.
think everybody needs to know some form of coding. Coding is democratized. It's an open source right now. So in some way or in some measure, this division that only techies should code and the rest should not, I think should be done away with. I very much agree that we should also invest time in design thinking. However, yeah, some of these skill sets, which we might say that are we talking only to the ones who are above average, already in the job market, skilled? What about the large population of India, which
Hmm.
probably have different priorities? I think even for them, they have to be digitally native. They should be able to some amount of. I keep again emphasizing on this point that being able to converse in English, even if it's spoken English, and if you have a little bit of ability to read and write in English, nothing
Hmm.
like it.
Hmm.
Being mobile or rather open to mobility.
Hmm.
I think some of these elements will actually open up huge opportunities. The way India in the next
Hmm.
50 years is probably India's trajectory is going to look like. So I think some of these elements should probably help because otherwise you really don't know what skill to predict for Sonal into the future. What's relevant
I
today?
got I got most of your points. I'm not understanding this coding bit though. Please
Yes,
indulge me a little.
yes, I think I'm a big believer that all of us actually, I've recently enrolled myself into a course in Python, and trust me, in the world where Google exists in our life, it's very easy to learn. And it's not something which is very difficult. We just have
But
to
why? Why are you saying it's a skill we must all have?
everything in this world very soon will need an ability to understand coding. It is it's not that it's like to solve daily life problems at our workplace. We will need codings for everything. We will coders and developers are already becoming very expensive so now. So I think some of these problems that we have to solve in our daily life, we should be able to solve for it. And productivity is how we will get differentiated from everyone else in our workplace. So
Hmm.
there's a difference between me and somebody else at workplace is not going to be a fancy degree I got 10, 15 years back from an elite
Hmm.
college. Degree
Hmm.
is at this point of time my ability to get a job done better in every possible way, whether it's in terms of less time or higher quality. And trust
Hmm.
me, it's an inevitable skill for all of us to pick up. So my daughter may not end up becoming a techie, but
Hmm.
she might get into design, but she already knows and she understands because she's solving her life problems daily in her daily life just because of the coding skills that she has adopted. So robotics,
Wow.
coding,
Hmm. Hmm.
this is part of our life. This is going to be how our life
Yep.
looks.
Right. Interesting you say that because I've seen two kinds of parents, one who push their kids into coding and others who push them into art classes. I'm trying to understand if there is there
We
is
need both.
a marriage of both
Yes,
that you're
we need
actually
both.
saying is required for the future.
Yes, we need both right now.
All right. Last bit then. Ayush, your thoughts on skills of tomorrow?
Yeah, I have some strong ones here because like we've been working in the remote workspace since 2017, right? So we've done a lot of research into what really makes a person a good remote worker, right? So I think soft skills, as I said, I would love to like double down on that. What are the soft skills which will end up really making you more employable, right? Over the
Hmm.
years we realized that, and I would love to touch upon the thing which she brought up, that okay, East Europe is a big competition for India, and that is very true, right? Like
Hmm.
world needs more developers. 24% of world's developers are in East Europe, 25% in India, right? So East Europe and India are like big part of the world. But I think with respect to soft skills, I would say like learning how do you learn how to write, how to be a great writer is going to be one of the great things in future, right?
Hmm.
Being a great writer enables you to sort of communicate with your team asynchronously irrespective of which
Hmm.
time zone they're in, and communicate your work in an efficient manner. The
Hmm.
second one would be learning how to really over communicate, right? Like that could involve like being really good at oral communication, being friendly
Hmm.
with different accents, and things of that
Hmm.
nature, right? The third thing which I would say is really learning how do you use all those tools out there which are there for collaboration, right? So collaboration becomes like one of the most sort of important aspects of things when you're especially in a when you're in a distributed environment, right? And the
Hmm.
next two things would be teaching yourself how do you stay disciplined. I'd say like
Hmm.
when you're not at the workplace, there are certain things which you sort of do because by
Hmm.
design you're supposed to do that, right? When you're at a
Hmm.
workspace, but when you're working from your home, there
Hmm.
are no such rules, right? So I think like creating that discipline is very very important. And
Hmm.
the last one would be staying organized, right? I think this was less important when you had managers and especially for junior people, right? Like when they
Hmm.
are learning, they're not as organized. So I think like learning how to stay organized is really important. And to top all of it, like what you said, I
Hmm.
totally agree there that tech, especially if you're working in tech, right? One
Hmm.
has to understand that tech changes every single year.
Hmm.
And if you had a degree is a proof that you have like these set of skills, right?
Hmm.
But almost any skill which you can learn today will be irrelevant a couple of years from now because tech moves so fast, right? So
Yeah.
you have to be a constant learner, and you have to
Hmm.
sort of create an environment in which you're picking up new skills as we go. So all of those things are really matter a lot.